To compare fractions and decimals, we first convert any fractions into decimals, and then compare the decimals like we did in the previous section 4.1. Let's look at 1/5 and convert it to a decimal. We'll add a decimal point beside the 1 and carry that decimal point up. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract and we get a 0. So we have 2/10 compared to 25 hundredths. We can add a 0 beside the 2 to get the same number of decimal places. And now we're basically looking at 20 and 25. 20 is less than 25, so 1/5 is less than 25 hundredths. In the next example, let's convert 5/7 into a decimal. We have 5 divided by 7. We'll add the decimal point. 7 goes into 50 7 times. 7 times 7 is 49. Subtract and we get a 1. We'll add a 0 and drop it down. 7 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract and we get a 3. And at this point we can actually stop. We could continue on doing the division, but this decimal does not terminate. But that's okay. We've got everything we need. All we're doing is comparing fractions. So we have 72 hundredths, and we're comparing that to roughly 71 hundredths. Right now we can already see 72 is bigger than 71, or 72 hundredths is greater than 5/7. In these examples, we want to order the numbers from smallest to largest. In order to put these numbers in order, let's convert all of them to decimals. The first one's already a decimal. Let's focus on 1 and 1/4. Looking at the fraction part, we have 1 divided by 4. We'll add a decimal. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract and we get a 2. Drop down the 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract and we get a 0. So 1 and 1/4 is 1 and 25 hundredths. Now let's look at 1 and 2/5. We have 2 divided by 5. We need to add a decimal point. 5 goes into 20 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract and we get a 0. So rewriting 1 and 2/5, that's really 1 and 4/10. But remember, to compare these numbers, we need to have the same number of decimal places. So we'll add a 0 beside this 4. So now we're looking at just the decimal part, 26, 25, and 40 to order these. 25 is the smallest, so that means rewriting the original numbers, 1 and 1/4 is the smallest. After 25 comes 26. So we have 1 and 26 hundredths. And then finally the 1 and 4/10, which is 1 and 2/5. They are now in order from smallest to largest. Over in this example, we already have decimals here. We need to rewrite 3/7. 3 divided by 7. We'll add a decimal point. 7 goes into 30 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. Subtract and we get a 2. We'll drop down that 0. 7 goes into 20 2 times. 2 times 7 is 14. Subtract and we get a 6. We'll add a 0 and drop it down. 7 goes into 60 8 times. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract and we get a 4. And we can actually stop right here. That pattern is actually never going to end. It does not terminate. We've got everything we need though for now, since all we're doing is comparing these to put them in order. So looking at 3/7, we could think of that as 0.42, since all we really care about are the first two, since we're comparing these and the most they have are 2. I'll rewrite the middle one as 40 so that it has the same number of decimal places as the others. So comparing 40, 41, and 42, putting those in order. The smallest, 4/10. The next is 0.41 or 41/100. And then finally 3/7, which is really bigger, 0.42 or 428. And now we have them in order from smallest to largest.